So what is Luminar for, and can it really make sky replacements that much easier? I'm Jason Olsford, the Photollustrator, and today I'm going to replace this sky with Luminar 4, and then after this video, I'm going to weigh out the pros and cons so you know whether to spend your money on this crazy little app and Photoshop plugin. All right, so let's head back to the office, crack open Luminar 4, and put this sucker to the test. All right, so before we download our images and we crack open Luminar 4, if you're a uniquely different photographer who wants to create uniquely different composites, then consider checking me out over at our new platform at patreon.com/Photollustrator. Now, your support allows me to keep making these free YouTube videos and explore different things that we do in composite photography, different techniques, and help you master your skill set. And it also gives you the opportunity to invest in yourself, in your skill set, in your business as a composite photographer. Now, there's absolutely no pressure, but if you do want to support me, head on over to patreon.com/Photollustrator, and you can check out the different levels that we have all the way from $3 up to $250 a month. All right, gives you different things, so check it out. And thank you so much for your support. Now, let's download some images and crack open Luminar 4. Alrighty, so here we are in the computer box, and we are going to now open up our Lightroom where we have put our image here. We've transferred it into Lightroom, and I'm just going to do my quick edits here in Lightroom. Of course, you can do this in Luminar 4, but I'm going to do it in Lightroom because I just want to focus on sky replacement and Luminar Quattro. All right, so this is our basic image that we are going to use here, and I'm going to start out by let's just bring those shadows up just a little bit. Let's bring our highlights down just a tiny bit. I'm going to bring that exposure down just a little bit there. Digging that right there. We're going to bring our sharpening way up, our luminance up, so we can denoise this sucker, and then remove our chromatic aberrations. And then I'm going to come over here, and because I already have Luminar loaded up and it's talking to Lightroom here, you can right click, edit in Luminar 4. And then we're going to copy our Lightroom adjustments because we want to maintain all of that as we bring it into Luminar 4. Let me shrink this window down. So we're going to open up Luminar 4 as it's thinking about what it's going to do here. And this is our basic image here that we just brought in from Lightroom. And of course, over here to the right, you have all the adjustments that we did in Lightroom, and you can do all that fun stuff here, enhancing it, lighting, all that good stuff. But we're going to go right over here to this tab, Creative, click on that, and go up to Sky Replacement, AI Sky Replacement. Now, this is where it's going to get really funky. So normally, if I was going to do this in Photoshop, this would be a lot of work, all right? Especially trying to paint in and maintain all these little cords that are holding this whole structure up. Now, with Luminar 4, that's not so much the case. All right, so let's go ahead and just bring in a couple of different skies here that they already have within their system. Boom! That is super fast and looks really dang good. Just like that. That is so cool. Now we can bring our horizon. Let's say that's down just a little too much. We want to bring that character of this cloud up. We can simply do that by bumping up our horizon position, and it'll bring that image up. So that's looking pretty gnarly there. The one thing is that when you replace the sky, though, with your scene, you just want to make sure that you maintain the same lighting scenario in your sky as you do in your scene. Now, because this scene was lit very flat, this is a little bit different. So where does this light source come from? It's a little difficult to see in this image here, but we can go down to our dramatic skies, and we can start picking some of our dramatic skies. Now it's looking a little bit better. We know that the light is coming from kind of behind the
skies or the clouds there. And so that might work for us. And then we can bring in, let's see, a different one here. That's not looking too bad. One more there. That's looking pretty good. Let's go back to the dramatic sky too. All right. So we can come in here and actually add in a galaxy if you want it to look like a galaxy back there, which is kind of cool. Starry night. You can go in there and add in a very nighttime type of scene. And we can alter the front here to kind of match it. Sunset. Bring in a nice little sunset. That's not too bad. And then also you can load your own custom sky image. And you can just do that by clicking that. And it takes you to whatever file that your stock image skies are living in. Then we can click that and open it, and it will replace this sky with my own sky. And I can just bring that horizon position down, position out a little bit better, and get rid of the lake and the tree line so you don't see it. And there you go. So let's go in here and just bring back in this dramatic sky too. All right. There we go. And then I can come in here and we can do some advanced settings here. So basically we talked about the horizon position, horizon blending. So it'll blend this along the horizon line. So if you want it really super blended, I imagine that's what it'll do. We didn't have any problems with that, so let's just keep it there. We can relight our scene, make it darker, darker, darker. Not digging it, so I'm just going to go back there to original. We can do our global sky, and this is going to see some things pop out here in our structures. So it's kind of bleeding through our structures, so we don't want that. I always kind of recommend, doing the extreme so you can actually see what these tools are doing for you. We can close the gaps, sky local. Not really sure what these are. And I'm not really seeing any change in them. All right, so defocus. I do know what that is. Although I would call it blurry, sky blurry. Let's blur this sky. Basically, it's what's happening. Atmospheric haze, we can drop that down just a little bit, maybe bring in a little bit more detail in our cables there. Our sky temperature, so let's drop that temperature down just a little bit because our scene is a little bit blue. And then our sky exposure, I want to bring that down as well. So we can do that right there like that. Pretty dang cool. And then you can also do some masking, so you can mask out certain things. If it's bleeding over your image here, you can mask that out. Luminosity, gradient mask, you know what those things are there. So let's just real quick go in here and add in something really cool. And add in a sun flare. Let's just say the amount. Boom. That, I'm serious. That is insane how freaking cool that is. All right. So the problem, I already know the problem with this is the penetration. It's penetrating a whole lot. It's penetrating just a tiny little bit. That's what she said. All right. Okay. So that is a fun little extra there. So you can see now with Luminar 4, you can replace these skies insanely good. I mean, you seriously could not do this by hand. It would take a lot of work to do this by hand. And then add in a sun flare like that. Super, super cool. That is Luminar 4 and replacing the sky.
Well, that was pretty damn cool now, wasn't it? Seriously, I don't think there's a master Photoshopper on the planet that could cut out skies as fast and as good as Luminar 4. However, before you run out to the nearest Luminar 4 store, there's one big negative that I think we need to consider. At least that's a negative for me. And that's the output image and how Luminar 4 merges or mushes together your original scene image and the new sky image into one photo, giving you absolutely no control over the two separate images, which I 100% want when I'm creating my composites. However, if you don't mind the merging together of those two photos, then Luminar 4 will probably be a really good investment for you. However, if you're like me and you want the freedom and control of keeping your original image separate from your new sky image, then Luminar 4 may not be the best bet for you or me. Maybe. The only way to know that, though, is to put Luminar 4 to the Fotillustrator test and see which one comes out the winner, which is exactly what we're going to do on next week's episode. All right, so if you like this video and you want to be part of the Fotillustrator Masters community, hit that subscribe button below. And if you like this video, tap that like button and show it some love. Thanks so much for your time, and I'll see you next week in the big challenge.